morning, members. We have a quorum, and it is the appointed time for the meeting. I call to order the meeting of the Home Affairs Panel. The purpose of today's meeting is to receive deputations and individuals who are here to express their views on the consultation on the Building Management Ordinance. There are 52 individuals and deputations who are attending the meeting today. Plus, the clerk has received deputations from 2 individual or deputations. Submissions have been forwarded to members and the administration. I also like to ask you to look at the revised agenda issued on the 22nd of January. The Law Society of Hong Kong has told the clerk that it will submit their views to the panel in early February. We will forward that to members when we receive it. I will now invite the deputations and the officials to come in. The time for this meeting will be like this. I hope members will try your best to stay through the meeting to listen to the views of deputations. The first session will run from now to 10:45. There will be 26 deputations and individuals who will be speaking to us, and then we'll take a break of 10 minutes. The second session will start from 10:55 until 12:45. Again, there will be 26 deputations or individuals attending.
I
believe deputations and individuals are seated. So could I ask for your attention? First of all, on behalf of the Legislative HA panel, I'd like to welcome you to the meeting to express your views. Since there are many of you attending in alignment with convention, I will allow each deputation or individual 3 minutes to speak. The timer will be ticking once you start to speak, and when the time is up, I will ask you to wrap up your last sentence and stop speaking so that we can keep order at the meeting here. If you have views which have not been expressed within those 3 minutes, and also apart from your oral submission, if you would like to give us your submission in paper, we welcome that after the meeting. You can send it to the clerk after the meeting. If deputations or individuals require interpretation, we have the headphones and we are providing simultaneous interpretation service. If you need the service, please raise your hand to seek help from our staff. In my capacity as chairman, I'd like to remind you that whatever you say here will not be exempted or covered by the Legislative Council Powers and Privileges Ordinance, that is Cap 382 of the laws of Hong Kong. The same applies to your written submissions. I'd also like to remind deputations and individuals and also people in the public gallery, you should have received a copy of the rules or regulations with regard to attending meetings at the Legislative Council and the relative or relevant security measures. I hope you will comply with those requirements. Now I will invite the administration to see whether they'd like to say anything by way of introduction. The administration has submitted papers to us, and the Secretariat has also prepared a background brief. Both have been forwarded to members. I'd like to ask the Assistant Director of Home Affairs, Mr. Franco Kwok, would you like to walk us through your paper? After the AD has done so, I will start to invite deputations to speak. Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, members. With regard to the consultation paper on Building Management Ordinance, we came here on the 17th of November to introduce that to members, and we listened to your views. In accordance with your request, we have prepared a paper on the safeguard measures for prevention of corruption and malpractices in building repair and maintenance works. Because of time constraint, I will not go into the details. Maybe I will reply to the deputations or members' questions later. We have been to 16 district councils to listen to views of the public. We'll continue to collect views until the 2nd of February. I think I'll stop there. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Now I'll ask the deputations to speak. First of all, Ms. Yongwing Shang, Amy. Thank you, Chairman and members, for allowing us the opportunity to speak here. I support the overall direction of the consultation paper. I have the following views. The setting up of OC, first of all, the BMO is to assist owners to set up OC and manage their own buildings according to the ordinance. But to people in Discovery Bay, this is almost impossible because the developer and its subsidiary owns over 70% of the undivided shares, but they pay less than 10% of the overall management fee. Just like para 13 of the background brief, this is totally disproportionate. I agree that we should have a user pay principle, and also when we pass a resolution of setting of the OC, we should only allow those people who are paying management fees to vote. Secondly, termination of the DMC manager. Now, because of this inequality at Discovery Bay, small owners usually cannot appoint the DMC manager. We cannot introduce competition, and we cannot guarantee the quality of service and also the reasonable remuneration. So I agree that the term of office should be limited to 5 years, and I think that this should apply to all buildings, new or existing. I believe this is in line with the new competition law. Number 3, large-scale repair works and disputes. This has happened time and again. There have been disputes about quality and the amount paid for repair. I don't rule out bid rigging in the process. I agree with the consultation that we should allow the quorum to be maintained at 20% of people paying and who will be affected. But I don't agree that the shares that are required for passing the resolution should be heightened from 50% to 75%, because 75% is too high. And I believe a transparent system can guarantee the integrity of proxies. Number 5, with regard to DMCs, I'd like to talk about finances and election. I agree that the 2 schedules will be included in the main DMC, but we should also have it in the other DMCs. Sorry, your time is up. If necessary, please give us a copy of your written submission. Next, Mr. Wilson Orr. Thank you, Chairman, members. I am here on behalf of the Kwun Tong District Council in order to coordinate building management. The administration has been encouraging the setting up of OCs. The BMO provides the legal framework for doing so. We welcome the consultation paper. And I'd like now to comment on 2 points. Number 1, collection and verification of proxies. At owners' meetings, proxies have created a lot of problems. There are loopholes and uncertainties. We believe that we should tighten the control. But how can owners know that the proxies are given to people they trust? I think not enough has been said about this. I hope the administration can think more about this. Number 2, when owners attend owners' committees, their proxies should be invalidated right away. However, when the owners' committees have started, even if owners come in, their proxies have not been dealt with effectively. And next, support for OCs. As you know, OC members work on a voluntary basis. We think there should be more training for them. And the HAD should increase support and training for owners. We propose you should have synergy with professional bodies so you can do advanced work to help OCs. You are providing support now, but they are not really helping. And also, in terms of projects and works, we do need professional support. OC owners usually do not have too much knowledge about such repair works, and sometimes bid rigging has happened. We hope the HAD will strengthen its role so as to provide more support to OCs. Number 3, we can't see any mention of bid rigging in the paper, and we are disappointed. Lastly, I hope you can provide more free service to OCs or even small owners so as to allow them to know how to form OCs or tackle large-scale maintenance works. Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask you whether you can consider asking people to lower the placards because I cannot see their faces. Okay, can I ask those who have placed placards on the tables to remove them because you are blocking the sideline of members? Yes, Mr. Lam, you'd like to say something? Chairman, first of all, we have not spoken. I don't know why Mr. Ip would like to see our faces. We are not disturbing the meeting either. Chairman, can you consider allowing the small owners to continue to place our placards here to express our views?
須知呢都好清楚講咗呢係不得展示任何標語、標誌同埋橫額嘅。咁我希望大家幫忙遵守，咁將你個標語同埋橫額呢，起碼放到一個位置呢，就係唔影響其他人嘅視線。可唔可以將佢放低？好嘛？到你發言嘅陣，你就將你喜歡嘅話，你可以將你嘅標語呢就攞出嚟表示你嘅意見，好冇？我盡力滿足平衡兩方面嘅訴求，咁希望大家幫忙啦。好，唔該你哋。因為事實上我喺呢個位都冇辦法睇到呢有部分人究竟是否有出席與否。
Next, we have Mr. Ivan Tam. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and good morning. I represent the Hong Kong Association of Property Management Companies. I'd like to express my views regarding the proposed amendments to the BMO. The review of the ordinance will have a grave impact on the operation of our industry. We will be later on be submitting a detailed submission. However, today I'd like to simply make a few major points. First of all, on the termination of the DMO managers, we do not agree with the proposed change. Under the company's ordinance, right now we you can pass a resolution by way of a simple majority. That is the spirit of the law. You cannot force the majority to obey the views of the minority. So in terminating the DMO manager, I think the threshold should be lowered to 30% to uphold the spirit of the law. And once it is lowered to 30%, it's possible that another 50% to 70% of the owners may object, thus resulting in a lot of conflict. I therefore think that we should abide by the principle of the minority following the majority. For some properties, due to some pre-existing conditions, it is not easy for owners to hold more than 50% of the undivided shares. For these projects, we propose that the residential portion be taken out so that we can count those shares separately. So long as you have more than 50% of the owners holding more than 50% of those shares, can pass a resolution. For owners of non-resident or of the residential portion, they can also allow the DMO manager they appoint to continue to manage those premises. That can allow for greater flexibility without affecting the development planning of the whole development. Regarding the remuneration of the DMO managers, they are the agent of the property, and they have to work on behalf as agents for the residents, paying for various bills and providing for data analysis, and I don't think that should count as part of the remuneration. The manager's company and the time they spend on different management projects cannot be individually counted, or the percentage that should be apportioned to each. We therefore propose that the present method of calculation, namely all the different items of expenditure, be included in the calculation of the remuneration of the managers. And also, I think the proposal in the paper cannot resolve the problem of bid rigging. Instead of enacting legislation to regulate I think we should improve the system for regulating major repairs and renovation works. In defining what is major renovation and works, technically there might be difficulties. I'm sorry, your time is up. I'm sorry, Mr. Lam, from where I'm sitting, your placard is still blocking my view. Same for the lady, Mr. Ma. I think when the deputations come, they should abide by the rules of this council. I hope the chair can also enforce our rules strictly. Otherwise, the chairman of other panels may also have to follow, and then this may become a habit, unless we change our rules. Otherwise, members of the public should abide by the rules of this council when they attend our meetings. I hope you will strictly abide by our rules. Mr. Yip. There are rules governing the proceedings of this council, and if they want to enforce what they are saying by showing a placard, that's allowed, but they should not display it in such a manner. So for all those deputations, would you please kindly abide by our rules and put down your placards, and if you think it is necessary, you may put them up when it's your turn to speak. According to our rules, members attending of the public are not allowed to or shouldn't display such placards. As Mr. Yip Kok Him said, and I've also clarified with our clerk that this has always been our practice. When deputations speak, and if they think there is a need to show their placard to emphasize what they're saying, we would allow that, and we will use our discretion to allow that. As for at other times, then you are not allowed to display any placards when it's not your turn to speak. So members are also correct in this regard. Mr. Ho, or Madam Ho. Some members said that they couldn't see the deputations because the placards were blocking their views. And honestly, from where I'm sitting, I can see all the deputations and images very clearly. The members of the public have come here to express their grievances. We are an open council. I hope we will be as flexible as we can, even though our rules said that members of the public can only display placards when they are speaking. However, as a council that is open to the public, I believe we should be more tolerant. Mr. Chen Chi-chin, please be brief. If I were a member of the public, on some occasions I was searched and we're not allowed to bring bags into the council. But in the last year or so, I think the council has been exercising discretion so long as there's no nuisance cause, or if the member of the public does not attack other people, then we will allow them to bring in such materials. I've never seen any occasion in which people are not allowed to display any placards. Madam Chair, I think rules are meant to be obeyed. I agree that if we all agree what the rules should be, then we should enforce those rules. If some of our colleagues believe that we should, rely on other rules, then I think the administration committee, or I think we can fix those rules, new rules, there and then. And I don't think we should be enforcing our rules by applying different standards. Okay, I will then follow the requirements according to the rules governing those attending, governing members of the public who are attending our meeting. So please cooperate. You're here to express your views, and please do not. Let's not continue with this dispute over the question of placards. I'll try my best to allow to exercise my discretion. Mr. Lam, thank you. Some electrical members believe that our placards against bill rigging, it's causing them some concern, and in order not to disrupt the proceedings of this council and to express our sentiment that we shouldn't allow bid rigging, I would like to appeal to all the owners present to put down the placards and place it in front of the chest. Well, I respect your decision, Madam Chair. I'm not against the content of their placard, but rather there are rules of this council that we should follow. We go by the rule of law, and in electrical we should respect that. I don't think we should arbitrarily do whatever we believe is right. I think we need to let the public know very clearly. We're not focusing on the views that they're expressing. We're here today to listen to the deputations, and we shouldn't be obstructed in doing that. All right. I think we've spent a lot of time discussing that already. Let's put an end to that dispute. I've already made my decision. I've already, indicated that we should follow the requirements as stipulated in the notice to those members of the public who are attending our meetings in this council. And we will require all those present to follow such rules. Next, Mr. Alice Yip. Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning. I represent the Hong Kong Institute of Housing Managers, and we support the proposal to enhance the transparency for convening the OC meeting. We're not favor for the threshold for passing resolutions to terminate the DMC managers, and so we believe that the only effective way to enhance the supervision of contractors and to tackle bid riggings. We support the proposal to raise the threshold to 75% of the votes, because a simple majority, the resolution by simple majority has proven to be effective. And we do not agree for lowering the threshold to 20%. The existing ordinance stipulate that we should have a 30% threshold, and that's already not very high. If we lower it further for the establishment of an OC, then the OC will not have the credibility. The existing ordinance, Section 3A, already provide for a long-established mechanism, so the 20% of the owners can apply to the HAD for the convening of an OC meeting and a management committee. We do not support the proposed threshold for terminating the contract of the DMC manager. The existing mechanism is already effective. A simple majority rule is the will of the owners. I think we should abide by this principle. To resolve this, the technical crux of the problem, I think we can divide the shares in the estate and separate them into different portions, namely residential, the shopping mall, and the carping and the car parks. So long as you have 50% of the owners agreeing, then they can terminate the DMC managers, and this certainly will work and can resolve the existing problem. I hope electrical work will support this principle. I do not agree that the term of the DMC manager should be for 5 years, because if the service standard doesn't satisfy the requirements of the owners, certainly a sufficient number of owners can pass a resolution to terminate the term of the managers, and the term should therefore be decided by the owners. We do not agree that the remuneration of the manager should be low by a certain percentage year on year. The OC normally can, communicate with the DMC managers to fix the remuneration, and that has proven to be effective. We also do not agree that the formula for calculating the remuneration of the DMC managers, we should deduct certain expenses from that. Our DMC managers have worked very hard, are discharging their duties diligently. I think your time is up. Next, Mr. Chen Si Ching. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here to express my views. I am a district councillor from Yuen Long. In the housing estate that I live in, there have been 3 or 4 legal proceedings already, and each and every time the owners have to pay for that. And the dispute normally would be around, for example, the question of proxies, unfair elections, and excessive powers for the chairman of the OC. According to my observation, these 3 issues arise from a single source or cause. That is, the owners are not enthusiastic in participating in the work of managing the estate. And very often the powers of the chairman is excessive. And the chairman of the OC is simply excessive. Other than having the power to appoint the election manager, he has the power to decide which proxy is effective. He can also set the date for the OC meeting, and very often, in order that if they do not want too many owners attending the OC meeting, sometimes they have chosen the evening of a weekday at 8 or 9 p.m. or 3 p.m. in the afternoon to convene an OC meeting, during which owners simply cannot be present. As a result, the rules governing the voting system is simply become meaningless. So I think the proposal of increasing the threshold from 50 to 75%, I have some reservation about that. Although you've made it more difficult to pass resolution regarding funding, other than that, it would not serve any purpose. For the standalone buildings, you may have tenement buildings where many of the units are already vacant, and you wouldn't be able to obtain 70% of the owner's consent.
I'd like to make the following proposals. First of all, to change the way proxies are dealt with. I support what is proposed in the consultation paper. I hope there will be an independent third party to monitor the process. And also the election manager should be declared. Now the chairman would announce who it is. Our experience is that our voluntary lawyer became the election manager, so he was the referee as well as the player. And lastly, the role of the HAD, it does nothing. It just sits there. It provides no legal or professional assistance. HAD staff should be more professional. Thank you. Your time is up. Mr. An Man Yu. Thank you, Chairman. In many major renovation works in Hong Kong, we are seeing more disputes amongst owners. The consultation paper proposes to raise the threshold for deciding on major works. It seems views are very divided, and therefore this is proving to be controversial. The thing is, the proposal is still unclear. For example, there is no statutory definition of large-scale maintenance works. You will say if the amount exceeds the annual expenditure or exceeds a certain percentage of the annual expenditure of the OC, or whether it should be decided on the amount to be paid by each owner. Now, I don't think we can easily find an across-the-board definition. Before tightening the threshold, you must study the issue carefully. You should gather more data before you make a decision. You must be careful in drafting the rules, or else people with ulterior motives may split up the major works in order to circumvent the law. The raising of the threshold only tackles the symptoms of the problem. What you should do is to enhance the transparency of such major works and allow owners to have the incentive in taking part in the work, and so as to combat bid rigging. And also, you should provide more support for owners. As for the use of proxies, you should make it more transparent, and you should allow owners to attend the opening of proxies so that there would be more monitoring. But as I said, there are standalone buildings and housing estates are of different sizes. They all need more support from the HAD. As for the DMC manager, I agree that the salary scale should be lowered, because in large developments we can have economy of scale, and therefore the management fee should be lowered year after year. By doing this, we can lessen the expenditure on management fees, and also we can encourage managers to stay on the job. Next one, Mr. Kwan Ho Chung. On behalf of the DAB, I'm here to respond to the consultation paper. We welcome the review of the ordinance in order to protect the interests of owners. Number one, about the threshold for deciding on major works. In principle, we think the proposal can enhance the legitimacy of the works and also enhance participation of owners. However, I think there should be more regulation on engineering companies, and also to combat bid rigging with more force. We believe we should have a data bank that covers the maintenance fees as well as professionals who can help do the work, so owners can have more information about prices. This will help to lessen the chance of bid rigging. Secondly, proxies. We think the review direction should be to enhance the transparency of proxies, and owners should be allowed to attend the opening of proxies procedure. At the same time, since we have different sizes of housing estates, and also standalone buildings are a category of their own, the administration should provide more appropriate support for different OCs. With regard to DMC managers, the DAB is of the view that we can support the proposals. We hope there would be more supervision on the fees for DMC managers, so there will be more transparency and reasonableness. And we agree we should lower the threshold for setting up OCs, and that is from 30% of shares to 20%. We think that will facilitate the setting up of OCs. At the same time, there should be more support for OCs. This will allow more owners to participate in the work of OCs. Thank you. Next, Mr. Lam Cheuk Ting. Chairman, bid rigging is harming small owners. Bid rigging is such a serious problem, but the administration has done nothing, and small owners are milked by such practices. The administration is incompetent, and small owners can only rely on themselves. We have set up the Property Owners Anti-Bid Rigging Alliance. We are asking for more law enforcement, and we are going to educate small owners in order to combat bid rigging. But all this time, the administration has been dragging its feet. The alliance put forward many proposals, but only a minority have been taken up in this exercise. Right now, under the BMO, there are no penalties. No matter how you amend the law, if there are no penalties, you cannot deter people with ulterior motives from contravening the law. When small owners know that there is a contravention of BMO, the district office would only tell them to pool money together in order to take the case to the land tribunal. Small owners cannot take care of that kind of mental and financial burden. The administration has refused our request to include penalties in the law. The law remains a toothless tiger. The administration said OC members work on a voluntary basis, so there should not be any penalties. This is ridiculous. Many members of advisory committees also work on a voluntary basis. Even if, when they abuse their powers, they are penalized. Every year, we are talking about millions of dollars spent on estate management, and major works of repair can cost up to hundreds of millions of dollars, and people are attracted to the business. There should therefore be more supervision. If you have the power, you should also take up the responsibility. We should not ask OCs and small owners to fork out the money to take cases to the court. We propose to enhance the threshold of major works. We like to have double threshold. First of all, having a meeting, it should be enhanced from 10% to 30%, and a resolution should be enhanced from 50% to 60%. Even if both thresholds are met, and owners should be more than 18%. Your time is up. Next one, Mr. Wen Siu Kin. Apart from the threshold, I'd like to comment on the role of the administration. I'm speaking from experience. In the estate I live, sometimes the administration has some shares, but in the process of setting up the OC, or if there are disputes about management, the administration doesn't take any part. Certainly, we know what the HAD should do, but in practice, the HAD does not give any view. Very often they would say, we are just here to give assistance. But what assistance does it give? It's not clear. And just now, somebody said it is not good to lower the threshold for setting up OCs, and we already have Section 3A. In fact, some estates went to the HAD for help under 3A, but then they could not get any help, and so they resorted to Section 4 to take the matter to the Lands Tribunal. And also termination of DMC manager. We welcome lowering the shares to 30%, but we have reservations about the 5-year limit. There should be some procedures for owners to review the work of the property management agency. If it does a good job, the owners should be free to renew the contract. And then something is absent from the paper. This has to do with proxies. The paper says that, or actually in practice, we should not verify the proxies only up to 24 hours before the meeting. Time is not enough. Maybe we should have the deadline set at 7 days before the meeting. In owners' committee meetings, sometimes people vote electronically, and owners are worried about forged votes. Now, there is no supervision on electronic votes at all. Thank you. Next, Mr. Chong Wing Fai. Thank you, Chairman. I have attended many OC meetings before, and I like to first of all say that many OCs are held by unreasonable shares. The developer may own the swimming pool, the football court, or the shopping mall, and it holds a lot of shares, but then the developer doesn't have to pay any management fee or maintenance money. In the voting process, the developer can enjoy the right, but it doesn't have the responsibility to pay any fees. This is hugely unjust. This is because in Cap 344, there is nothing said about this, except in 5AA in Schedule 7. I quote, "Only those who own shares and those who pay the management expenditure according to those shares should be able to vote." But this only applies to the dismissal of DMC manager. I was quoting from 5AA of Schedule 7. That goes to show that the administration knew what I said would happen in drafting Cap 344. But the administration only wrote what I quoted down to prohibit such people from voting on the dismissal of DMC manager. What is ridiculous is when the DMC manager is appointed, such people, including the developer, can vote. I have seen a developer own 49% of the shares. When small owners wanted to dismiss the DMC manager, the small owners were able to do so. But then, upon retendering, the property management agency again tendered for the job, and the developer exercised its right in voting, and in fact the same PMA was reappointed at a higher fee. I think this is so ridiculous. I hope there will be an overriding law so that those people who do not pay a management fee should never be able to vote. Thank you.
Next, Ms. Chen Wai Ling. Thank you, Madam Chair. Today, those of us who have brought placards would like to say that we all suffer because of Cap 344, and that's why we're here to express our views. Take Grandway Garden, for example. Since there are no penalties, we have to come up with the expenses to pay for the legal proceedings. Like Mr. Wen said, there's simply no regulation. I am the chairman of the OC, and I've discovered that for the documents relating to our major renovation work, we've lost some of the computer votes. So if there are no penalties, what can we do? If we were to take legal proceedings involving major renovations and we are asked to pay compensation to the tune of tens of millions of dollars, should we hold the OC or the government or the HAD responsible? There's nothing. The documents which are kept by our secretary, some of them are simply lost. How you can punish that secretary? How for those who are volunteers and serve the owners, then so long as they claim that they are sincerely working for the welfare of the owners and there's no penalty. For Grandway Garden, we really suffer a lot. We have to come up with the money to pay for our legal proceedings, which went on for a year. We're not allowed to attend any of the meetings. We're not able to participate at meetings which involve discussion relating to our major renovations. We really have suffered a lot. We have to pay, but we have no power and no rights at all. So Cap 344 certainly doesn't give us any protection at all. So the government may as well not encourage us to set up OCs in the first place. I hope members can help small owners like us. Please come up with rules which come with sanctions. As the chairman, I'm not worried that I'll be punished. I'm not even worried for any legal liability. Please come up with rules that is accompanied by, sanctions. When I speak here, I think I didn't realize that when I speak, I'm subject to so many restrictions, as in the case when I speak at OC meetings. Next, Ms. Cho Kim Ying. Good morning. I hope the government will understand that given the loopholes of Cap 344, small owners are simply rendered in a hopeless position. In the estate where I live in 2013, we passed a resolution to have a major renovation costing $263 million. 27% of the owners present at the OC meeting, but it wasn't decided how much money should be paid for the renovation works. And 2 days later, the OC said the resolution has been passed for the major renovation and listed the outcome of the votes, but didn't give the total cost for the project and how much each household had to pay. So in other words, 80% of the owners were kept in the dark regarding the costs of the project, and they didn't realize that each household has to pay close to $300,000. The chairman of the OC, under the circumstances, dared to sign a contract costing $263 million, and the management company only issued a circular after the contract was signed, informing us how each flat would need to pay. So we're forced to pay. In order that other estates will not suffer the same fate as ours, we believe that when signing contracts of major renovations, there should be a cooling off period, so that before a vote is taken regarding major renovations, owners should be informed as to how much each option would cost. And after resolution is passed for major renovations, the OC should inform all owners about the cost and how each household should need to pay, and also that the contract will only be signed 30 days later. And thirdly, if 5% of the owners object and ask for the special owners meeting, then the contract should only be signed after that meeting has been convened, and the contract could only be signed when the resolution is passed, because the amount involved in major renovations can easily come to tens of millions of dollars, and I think all owners should know how much they have to pay. If the owners don't even know what is the cost of the project and how much they have to pay, and somebody already signed the contract on their behalf, that really is, imposing it on the owners. And they would even warn you that if they renege on the contract, the owners have to pay compensation. What is more horrible is that immediately afterwards they will put up scaffoldings and start the work. And what happened after the renovation work is completed? I think the society of Hong Kong is already divided. Going forward, there will be many housing estates which need to go through major renovations. So if the loopholes under 344 is not plugged, and if the anger of the owners are not taken care of, I'm sure that the society of Hong Kong will be even further divided. Next, Ms. Yong Hoi Ming. Thank you. I have to pay $300,000 for the renovation of the building where I live. We won't come here with a placard, and you won't even allow us to display this. Do you know how much grievances we have in the owner where I live? I mean, the condition is really frightening. Many owners have been sent warnings that their mortgages will be put on hold, because when owners don't know how much we have to pay for the major renovation, we're under a lot of economic pressure. When I try to find, I've learned that for an old lady whose mortgage or has been suspended, he has pledged his building to the building department, and the building department would only pay the fees when 1/3 of the project is completed. But the OC forced the old lady to pay on time, and the old lady asked whether or not they could accommodate and let her pay later, even though she was willing to pay interest. But the OC refused to listen, and now her mortgage is simply put on hold. So have you been able to observe this sort of situations? We have now 18 owners who believe that there are many problems with the procedure, and they think that after they pay the cost for the renovation, they're not getting the protection. They try to make inquiries to the OC, and they're not given a satisfactory explanation. So they have to pay for the expenses to go to the land tribunal for an interpretation. As a result, the building where they live is now subject to an auction order, and 6 units will be put on auction. Have you ever considered owners whose buildings have to go through major renovation and their mortgages are simply, put on hold? So I really support the Alliance proposal that we should set up a building tribunal so the small owners don't have to engage lawyers, and we can, through the help of the tribunal, resort to a mediation, a tribunal, so that justice could be done. Right now, our grievances are simply unheard. We have to pay so much already for the major renovations. At least, I think such work should be done properly. Next, Ms. Fan Hoi Yin. I also live in Choi Wu Garden. Cap 344. According to Cap 44, many of the chairman and OC members do not have to be responsible. Our chairman of our OC had ignored the request of 5% of the owners and refused to convene an OC. More than 25% of the owners asked for the accounts. We made the request on the 29th of August this year, but under Cap 34, it is not stipulated that they have to give us the original copy with the signature. We've already gone to the HAD and made a declaration, but our OC queried that. The HAD very quickly gave us a reply. They have actually not heeded the request of the majority of the owners. So I'd like to know, what does it mean if owners ask for the accounts? Under Cap 344, when we go to the Lands Tribunal, when we made a submission, we did not stipulate who would be the target. For example, the OC or the chairman of the OC or other members of the OC. When we have, come up with the funds to go to the Lands Tribunal. During the first session, the magistrate already said that we were suing the wrong party. We were put into a very difficult position. And even the owners who supported us have lost confidence. And secondly, our OC now is resorting to different means to simply withhold information and stopping or banning owners from the exchange information. If we were to put circulars into letterboxes, they will warn us, and they even disclose the identity of owners who do that, and they're also stopping the media from conducting interviews within our housing estate, and also wrongly claim and lie about the figures in the accounts for those major renovation works. And also they are constantly smearing those of us who had objecting views. And they issue circulars saying that these scums should be evicted from where we live. So where can we go? If we want to attend the regular meetings of the OC, they stipulate that only 10 owners will be allowed to attend. No matter how early we register, we are always put on standby, and when the meeting is convened, they will say that all the places have been filled and the meeting will be held behind closed doors. Okay, your time is up. Next, Ms. Ho Wai Fong. Thank you. Under Cap 344, the proxies used at OC meetings simply are not subject to any regulation. There are all kinds of loopholes. The so-called convener of the OC meeting can make use of such proxies to simply control the outcome of the meeting. The fake proxies are rampant, and even the police cannot do anything about it. Take my housing estate, for example. The manager is the convener of the meeting. Early last year, we convened a meeting regarding the security contract, and one owner submitted a proxy, and the management company, before the meeting, voided that proxy because the signature simply did not tally. At the end of last year, we want to vote down the current OC. We convened an OC meeting. Some owners discovered that the proxies that they've sent in have been duplicated. When they made inquiries with the management company should show two separate proxies with different signatures. When the owners made inquiries with the management company told him that they will not check the signatures. They will only check the name and the address of the owners, and therefore both proxies are valid. Another example is that when the owner is not in Hong Kong, when the family sign on his or her behalf, even that proxy is considered valid. So what is wrong? The so-called proxies, how are they verified? Who verifies such proxies? And how are they verified? And in the course of verification, there is no regulation. The managed company can do whatever they like. They can actually determine the outcome of the meeting in any way they like. So I think the government should enact legislation to regulate the whole process governing proxies. For example, there should be guidelines regarding how such proxies should be, prepared, circulated, how signatures should be verified, and also there should be guidelines regarding appeals and so on. And there should be an independent third party to verify these proxies, so that such proxies will not go into the hands of those with unscrupulous intent. So when the proxies are voided, there should be a clear reason for that. And the person who is given the proxy and the person who signed the proxy should have the right to check and to appeal. So regarding the enforcement of rules governing proxies, the government should take up that responsibility. If the rules are there and they're not enforced, then we may as well do away with those rules. Next, Mr. Ng Yen Lam.
Thank you. About this consultation paper, I saw the name Chung Pui Lam, a lawyer. I approached him a few years ago, but now he is now a lawyer for the managers. He is just a commercial lawyer. I think he took part in the drafting of Cap 344, why are there so many loopholes? He's a very experienced lawyer. If it is a consultation paper, why did you not invite the victims to take part? We have been victimized, so we know the situation well. If you create more loopholes, there will be more benefits for the commercial lawyers, but more harm to owners. Number 2, if small owners have a dispute with the OC or the manager, the OC and manager can make use of the small owners' money to take the case to court, but small owners will have to dig into their own pockets. Can we do something like the labor tribunal, that there should not be any legal representation? Small owners, the manager or the OC should only represent themselves, and then the presiding officer can make a decision. That would make things fairer. If small owners have to fork out the money every time, many of them actually do not have the finances, and therefore they dare not argue the case in court. The OC and managers can twist the small owners around. If owners and managers can engage a lawyer and they invoke the law, then the presiding officer will also invoke case law. But small owners are not professionals. I hope you will follow the procedures of the Labor Tribunal, that there should not be any legal representation. Thank you. Ms. Chen Yi-mei. Thank you, Chairman. I live in a very big housing estate in the New Territories. I have been there for 20 years. I took part in the election of OC members for the first time recently. But the management company only pasted the list of proxies 9 hours before the meeting, and I found that the same unit signed 2 proxies, one of which was what I did. I asked the owner to sign the proxy, but the other one was actually on a newsletter issued by the owners' committee. This is the proxy form, and therein only 2 persons are allowed. First of all, the secretary of the owners' committee and the district councillor. This district councillor is a consultant of the owners' committee. The owner concerned did not sign any proxy for the district councillor. The owner said he or she did not even see that. And the owner himself went to the management company to ask about the case. And the management company said both proxies are okay, even if the signatures are totally different. The owner said he signed on only one, but the management company said they would only verify the name and address of the owner, but not the signature. But then I was told that some of the proxies I got had signatures which were not true. I reported to the police, but the police did not prosecute anyone. Number 2, I put all the proxies into the collection box at the same time, but I found one of the proxies missing from the list. So I did not get that vote. After election, I asked the officers of the management company to review all the proxies, and I found something strange. A candidate who was the treasurer of the owners committee, well, he is of course an owner. He actually gave proxy to himself. Sorry, your time is up. Next, Ms. Yang Yuk-fun. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to talk about the termination of DMC manager. Number one, it is now set at 5 years, and that is the term of office. I support that. But it is also stated that from the 3rd to the 5th year, termination can be considered. But I don't think we should be limited to the 3rd to 5th year. The housing development should have the liberty to decide whether to continue the service of a DMC manager. And this 5-year period will terminate automatically, and OCs must tender for a new manager at the owners committee. Under the DMCs now, if there is this agenda item in an OC meeting, then we can terminate the service of the DMC manager. And this is the only way to do it. But if the OC does not propose it as an agenda item, then there is absolutely no possibility to terminate the service of DMC managers. We believe that there should be automatic termination at 5 years, and the OC must review the matter, or else there would be automatic renewal of contract. Since we do not want automatic renewal, we do not need to lower the threshold of 50%. Because if there is automatic termination, the threshold could be higher. So the developer and small owners can communicate and get 50% of shares in order to decide on continuing the service of the DMC manager or to engage a new one. I hope after the consultation you can implement the amended law ASAP. There are many problems, and small owners have to take out money to take cases to court. Thank you. Next, Ms. Jiang Ping Chiu. Thank you, Chairman. I am here to focus on the role of the administration in this amendment exercise. On our placards, we say the law is a toothless tiger. Why have all the teeth gone? In my view, all along, the administration has not told small owners and members clearly what their role is. Just now, a small owner said that there could be a consultant who is a lawyer. 10, 20 years ago, Cap 344 was drafted. So many years have passed. We have found so many loopholes. We were trying to plug the loopholes, but then more loopholes were discovered. Small owners are increasingly aggrieved. They all point the finger at the management companies. many small owners did not understand what OCs or committees are. They relied on the PMA. And now small owners have disputes with PMA and OC members. If the administration can delineate the roles clearly, and if there are penalties in the law, and the enforcement agency, then small owners will not be so aggrieved. Supposing somebody bribes me, so I am elected, and then I would be asked to do something during maintenance. Now, if I go to complain, where should I go? I have asked the administration, the HAD. It said, it's up to you. In the end, as the owners were saying, sorry, your time is up. Ms. Lee Siu-ying, I'd like to talk about the manager fee. The DMC would state how much it should be, so it was set by the developer. We wouldn't be able to trace who signed those documents, but usually it is said that the manager's fee is set at a percentage. When the estate is new, it may be 10% and it's quite all right, but then when the estate gets older, we know we are paying over $100,000 every month as manager's fee, and our management fees cannot make things or make ends meet. We are sustaining a deficit, but at the same time we need to pay the manager's fee. We feel that the fee paid and the performance of the manager are not directly proportional, and we cannot take the case to the Consumer Council. The manager did not submit financial reports for a row of 2 years. We were asking for it last year, and it submitted it 10 months later. It never submitted its financial report on time. We gave the fee, but then there was no service. When small owners asked for a lowering of the manager's fee, we were not in a position to bargain. I think there is a vacuum at our estate. There is no OC, there is no owners committee either, because small owners did a lot of work, but the PMA knew that the owners committee had no power to check its performance. Under Cap 344, the inadequacies there do not allow us to set up an owners corporation. So what can we do with regard to the manager's fee? I asked the HAD, and we were given the answer that the manager's fee has no direct or causal relationship with the OC, and small owners can bargain with the PMA. But the PMA would always say you do not have an owners committee or corporation, so you cannot bargain with us. They would like us to set up a committee which is only advisory in nature. The owners wouldn't like to do that. And amongst owners, over 20%. Okay, sorry, your time is up.
強先生。
Next, Mr. Wong Tak Keung. Good morning, Madam Chair. I'd like to thank you for giving me 3 minutes to express my views. I am the chairman of the OC of the Greenview House. I've been the chairman for 3 years. Over the last 3 years, I think the owners living in our building includes Mr. Tung Chi Wah. I don't have any political affiliation. I'm just a citizen of Hong Kong. I think we only want a right to live in peace. Unfortunately, at Greenville House, the management company, the OC, colluded together at the expense of the owners. We had a renovation project costing more than $100 million. I myself am a small owner, and I felt that the current consultation is an improvement, but there is still one major problem. That is the Home Affairs Department's structure. It's flawed, basically. What I'd like to ask is, the government is spending so much money to protect the stock investors. We have an SFC to protect the investors. For those who speculate in stocks or making investments, I think stock investment is our own choice, but we have the right to live in our own flat. That the flat could be the biggest investment of our lives, but the government has not done anything to protect our rights. The Home Affairs Department, each and every time we meet, they ask us to do it ourselves. So what I'd like to emphasize is that I've been to the HAD, the ICAC, and the Commercial Crimes Bureau, and also the Institute of Surveyors, Architects, and the Property Manager Office. I've done everything I could on my own, including the Institute of Architects, and all these attempts have proven to be in vain. As chairman of the OC, I think we've spent several $1 million of the owners. We've not been able to resolve the problem. So I'd like to make 2 points here. First of all, I'd like the HAD will not evade this responsibility. Do not. Well, the ICAC asks us to tackle the problem ourselves. I think you should have the courage to enforce the law. Secondly, our property management company is a major listed company. They have a team of lawyers, one of whom is Mr. Chung Pui Lam. And the so-called legal advice that he gave us were all biased in favor of the property management company and totally, subjective. So how can the small owners go after these big tigers? It's simply not possible. Next, Mr. Chiu Yen Loy. Thank you. I represent the Labor Department and also the Alliance against bid rigging. The Labor Department would like to make 1 point. The quorum for setting up of the OC should be reduced from 30% to 20%. I think this is better than nothing. The HAD, when they enacted this legislation, the principle was to respect the views of the majority of the owners. But in practice, we've seen some housing developments, even when you have the consent of more than 50% of the owners, simply because of the uneven distribution of the shares, they were not able to form an OC. One example is the housing development in Chin Wan. The major developer owning the shopping center and the other parts already have 40% of the shares. The other owners, even though there were 300 odd units in that estate, for them to set up an OC, they would need the consent of more than 2,000 owners. At the same time, the apportionment of the management fees were not very even. 40% were, apportioned to the shopping center, but the major developer only paid 20% of the management fees. The remaining 80% were paid by the other 3,000 small owners, and this is not fair. At the same time, because of this unfair arrangement, well, the DMC itself was written by the major developer. So as a result, the owner simply could not set up an OC, even if the threshold were low to 20%. We therefore propose that the government may consider changing the rules so that instead of counting the percent of shares, we should base the decision on the number of owners who agree. On the question of bid rigging and so on, we've never seen the officials, I think the government is trying to evade their responsibility, and we're very dissatisfied with the performance of the Secretary. This ordinance involved more than millions of owners in Hong Kong, and we only have an assistant director here to listen to our views, and we think that the Bureau simply is not respecting our views. We are here today, all of us have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on renovation works and suffer such a painful experience. I hope the government can listen to our views. I think your time is up. Yeah, we are against bid breaking. Next, Mr. Wu Kin Wah. Thank you. I am an independent person. I'm also engaged in property management work. Regarding Cap 344, the HAD's role has always been one of an advocate. They will try to encourage owners to set up OC to maintain our buildings, but they do not give us a lot of support. After the Management Resource Center was closed, if small owners have any problem, we are asked to consult our lawyers or go to the Housing Society for consultation because they have their own lawyers. But the Housing Society simply doesn't have a role to play here. Under Cap 344, the authorities in charge is the Secretary for Home Affairs. He should be playing the role, playing a supervisory role. We propose that they should reopen the Property Management Resource Center to provide a one-stop service. And that center should be delegated authority to liaise with different government departments like the FSD, the Housing Department, the ICAC, so that small owners don't have to knock on the doors of each one of those departments. Regarding meetings concerning major renovation works, when large project, it is reasonable for more owners to participate when large projects involved. But for buildings which are in urgent need for renovation, I think this could be a problem. Where do not owners attend such meetings, and also regarding the right to vote? If the small owners don't turn up at such meetings, they are also exercising their right. Only when they realize that they have to pay expensive renovation fees and then they blame the OC. That may not be fair to the OC either. What is meant by major renovation work, worship is threshold? There are all kinds of loopholes. Many individuals and deputations said that by the time they realize that it's going to cost a lot of money, the resolution has already been passed, and they are forced to choose between options which are equally expensive. If the situation is too complex, people with unscrupulous intent, I think the small owners will find it even more difficult to deal with these people. There's one more point which is not mentioned in the consultation paper. That is, if some property developments has the potential for redevelopment, when developers have successfully infiltrated the OC and they conduct all kinds of unnecessary work and spend all the money, and they control the OC, and the small owners simply have no place to take the grievances to. So I hope the government can really, help us. I'd like to remind deputations and individuals that you are not allowed to walk like that in our chamber. So I'd like to ask our security staff to collect the materials that you are now handing to us. If we don't follow the rules, and I'll be forced to suspend the meeting.